Both are city council.
I'm ready whenever you are, but we got 2 minutes.
We're live.
We got 2 minutes here.
We're live.
So this is, and let me pull up the agenda.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You're good. That's something we need, I reckon.
How's this executive?
It's work session.
Work session.
So we'll, yeah. But not all of this is for, some of it is litigation.
You feeling awful quiet over there.
We're live, Lenny.
Don't get sleepy.
Lenny.
Trying to stay out of mischief.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. You can't be young.
We not talking to nobody?
Here you go, Tony. This is the agenda. One new business, one old business.
All righty. All right, bring the order of the Lawrenceburg City Council. Is this also work session? All righty. Of July 26th, 2021. Roll call, please.
Yes, Councilperson Tony Abbott.
Here.
Councilperson Justin Oppert.
Sir?
Councilperson Tommy Roulette.
Present.
Councilperson Lenny Fryman.
Here.
Councilperson Brett Bondurant. Yes, sir. We got City Attorney Dale Weldon.
Here.
The mayor is absent, and myself.
All right. Do we have any announcements? Hearing none, we'll go on to new business. Mr. Weldon, Riverfront Development District.
Thank you, Your Honor. If it pleases the Common Council, what you have, what I emailed you, and what I handed out copies of. I emailed it yesterday and handed out copies today so we can take our time with this and make sure we answer everyone's questions. This would be proposed ordinance number 10-2021, and this is an ordinance establishing what's called the Municipal Riverfront Development Project Area. So there's a statute contained within the statutes that control alcohol and tobacco in the state of Indiana that allows us to identify and create a municipal riverfront development project area within the 3 and 6 city blocks that touch the first developable block adjacent to the riverfront. And so what you'll see in your packets is, and Mark, since you're here, I have you a copy if you want to take a ganders. What you see in your packets is the ordinance as well as 2 exhibits. One exhibit is a map that our engineering department prepared, and the other exhibit is what would be the application. So, and I'll just go through this generally and we'll read it specifically and answer any questions. So the statute allows, again, for, if you turn to exhibit A, for the 3 blocks that are developable. So if there's a levy like we have or any other impediment to development, it just goes from those blocks that are able to be developed. We counted the area as the 3 blocks, including that the block that contains Ivy Tech in the event center, and then went north 3 blocks, which would take us up here to Center Street. And then the next 3 blocks are also subject to this area with some additional requirements. So that's why you see a light gray and a dark gray, or it would be in color when the map is made available to applicants and to the public, whoever would like to look at it. So, and then Exhibit B is the actual application that people would fill out to obtain a liquor license under this ordinance. So the statute, again, is specifically created by the state of Indiana legislature within the alcohol and tobacco code section of the code and the chapters involving alcohol and tobacco, and then it drills down to allow these in on-premises liquor licenses, 1-way, 2-way, or 3-way, so it can be beer and alcohol, and wine, but allows them to be awarded more than the limitations to traditional alcohol permits. So it allows us to issue essentially additional alcohol permits for the area adjacent to the riverfront that we have invested in. So that's why in the ordinance it talks about the local, city redevelopment and state investment that we've made to this area. This is our primary investment area, primary development area, the area where our entertainment and our small businesses are growing, and that's, in my opinion, why this statute was created, to allow additional liquor licenses to exist, to help us continue to do that, to help us achieve our goals in growing businesses, creating businesses. What you'll see in the application is kind of a walkthrough of what it would take to obtain one of these licenses. So what this ordinance creates, first of all, it says, here's the statute. It allows for the 3 blocks and 6 blocks adjacent to the riverfront to be developed. And it walks us through how we qualify, why we qualify. And then the map is specifically where we qualify. And then it goes on to establish the process for obtaining one of these licenses. So the statute speaks specifically to the legislative body, so that's you. You're the legislative body, you're going to create this ordinance if you feel like that's the prudent thing to do. And then you're also going to approve applicants through this process. The ordinance as it's written empowers our redevelopment director and our redevelopment commission to kind of vet these on the front end, to take these applications in, to go through all the legwork and determine if they meet the preliminary requirements, and then it would come to you as city council to approve them. And the reason that's important is because you, as the legislative body, the elected body, are essentially saying to the state of Indiana and the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, we are vouching for this business. We show that this business is a business that we want to have you consider for one of these permits. And because of that, because the process is contemplated in that way and set up in that way, then we can establish this application process, and you guys can actually determine who qualifies and who doesn't qualify, who should get one, who doesn't get one. So if you look through the application, what we have listed in the local application, which would then accompany the state application, is name and address of the business, the description of business. I'm a restaurant, I'm a bar, I'm a chicken place, I'm a steak place, the applicant name, the applicant address, the applicant phone number, applicant email address. And then first they would state I'm either the owner and or the proprietor. So it could be someone who owns the building or someone who's just renting it or someone who is actually both. I possess a deed or valid and current lease for the property. The location of the business is within the boundaries of the Lawrenceburg Municipal Riverfront Development Area. Obtained all businesses licenses required by the state of Indiana, Dearborn County, and city of Lawrenceburg. If I'm serving food, I have obtained all approvals from the health department. I have passed all building inspections and have obtained a valid certificate of occupancy. Oops, stuck together. I shall not knowingly serve alcohol to minors. I shall not knowingly allow a criminal offense to occur at the business premises listed in this form. I shall at all times cooperate with any reasonable request of the city of Lawrenceburg, redevelopment, Lawrenceburg Main Street. Shall participate in local events, marketing, and promotions. I shall operate a family-friendly, non-smoking facility. I shall not violate the city's noise ordinance or allow any unreasonable noise in my business. Please attach to this form following your completed Indiana alcohol license application, a signed copy of this form, your certificate of occupancy, your city business license, a sample menu, and proof of insurance. The person has to agree that the city may at any time for any reason rescind this recommendation and ask that the liquor license be terminated. Liquor license granted under this application is not transferable, may not be moved to any other location, and each renewal is a new and separate application. And any change in the owner, proprietor, and type of business requires a new application, a new license, and then this person signs it swearing that all these things are true and the information they've provided is true. That would go to Director Messmore. Director Messmore would then bring the ones that he thinks qualifies to you guys, and you would vote on whether or not we should promote them or sponsor them to obtain one of these licenses. Then they would send everything to the state, and the state would issue it to them if they believe it matches.
So they would not be able to put their application in if we did not approve their sponsorship?
Yes,
Is that
sir,
what you're saying?
exactly. Yep,
Okay.
that's exactly right.
What are the limitations to current restaurateurs in the area right now that have or desire to have, I guess is it the class 1, 2, or 3, the 2-way or 3-way or 1-way
Yep.
license? Are there current limitations that they have?
And there aren't any, and that's a great question. That's, again, I think why they created this, because typically, I think it's for every 1,500 persons, you can have a liquor license. So a traditional liquor license without this special provision, they're very hard to come by. We know that. I mean, it's kind of almost urban legend how valuable liquor licenses are in Dearborn County. So that's why this is created, to say, well, we're going to define a very narrow part of our city that we've invested in and allow them to not have any limitations.
Okay, so currently it's every 1,500 people you can have one license?
I believe that's the rule for a traditional just license.
Right, so I mean, that would be
Anywhere you want.
3 out of, our whole city pretty much, so that would
Exactly,
be
that-
very
and-
limiting, yeah.
Yeah, so you can imagine if you owned one, how valuable you
Yeah.
get, or if you wanted one, how hard it would be to get.
Yeah.
Which, we're not interfering with that, that's still the law, and those persons would follow those rules, and those persons have more capabilities than these licenses. For example, these licenses can't do carry out, and there are some things that can't do that a traditional full-blown liquor license could do. This just allows the opportunity for licenses in our identified targeted area.
Or the dark shaded area, is that just the three blocks, or is that the actual 300 or 600 feet?
So
On the-
it's 3 blocks or 1,500 feet, or whichever is greater. So we just did actual city blocks.
Okay.
We kind of erred on the side of caution, because I've seen mock-ups of when people have considered this before, where they kind of considered Ivy Tech to be half a block, and then they went halfway up this
Yeah.
next block. It just felt like that was a little risky.
Yeah.
We know for sure they've got 3 solid blocks to center, and then the 3 other blocks actually take us, all the way down to 50. So the first 3 blocks, you just have these, the requirements that you're within this district and you're sponsored by the city. The next 3 blocks, you have the additional requirement where you cannot be within 200 feet of a school or any school-owned property. So that's why there's 2 different sections. They have different additional requirements. They can still get one, but they have to show, which makes sense. That's good, and that's extra protection. Plus, they have to come to you guys. So even if they're within either one of these, you might say, well, there's a church there, or there's a retirement home there. Maybe we don't think this is a great idea. So you're free to say no for whatever reason that you want to. So that's again why it's important that you guys get to sponsor these.
Does this affect any of the current licensees?
If it does, then we'll run it back up the flagpole.
I mean,
I've
there's a
worked-
couple licensees just outside of the box that I'm looking at right now, just right off the bat, Whiskeys and,
Well, they have traditional
okay.
licenses.
Okay, so this is not a traditional license, or,
Correct, yeah, it's not. So
Okay.
it wouldn't affect anybody's license anywhere, but the only licenses we're talking about are these special limited riverfront district licenses. So someone like Whiskey's, I don't know this for sure, but I'd imagine has a traditional every 1,500 person forever and ever license, a robust, where they can do more things actually. So it wouldn't affect them in any way.
Are those licenses issued, the traditional ones, like within the city limits, or are those county, or how those issued?
I believe they're within city limits, but
Within
I'd
city
have to
limits.
look at the statute.
So basically, the only thing this would do is it would take the value of that license that person owns and probably break it down just a little bit, as far as being other people to able to get them easier.
I don't think so, because these are, I mean, just my opinion, I don't believe that they really have anything to do with each other. So first of all, the Indiana legislature, like we talked about, created this statute, created this opportunity. And second of all, we're really dealing with this, what we've always called the entertainment district, right? An area that we've kind of identified, hey, we're gonna try to rev things up, and it's gonna take some work, and it's I know things are great and awesome now, but they're gonna keep growing. You guys have made a ton of progress. There's lots more room to go. So that's what this contemplates. It contemplates kind of kickstarting things and helping things grow where, and I don't want to use Whiskeys as an example, but let's say there was an Applebee's here, they would have a traditional license. They're already good, right? They don't really need our help. These are businesses that we've invested in, areas that we've invested in, where we've identified and for example, redevelopment, the whole purpose of the redevelopment commission is to say, this area needs help, you know, this area needs investment. This is just another part of that. So I don't think really has anything to do with traditional licenses, and it's really, kind of apples and oranges.
Okay.
Okay, one question I got, on the map, it doesn't actually include the riverfront itself. Is that something we should include for future development?
That's a good idea. Yeah, good thought.
So
Your Honor.
what we did was, and we can change that, so I had, the engineers draw the line at the block that starts just on the north side of the levee. I would say that, and the reason we did that is because the statute actually talks about that. It says, if there's riverfront area and not all of it can be developed, which would always be the case, you can go all the way to the water, you just start at the first block that can be developed. So for us right now, that really is everything to the north side of the levee. That may change, and I think if it does change, then we would do an amendment to the ordinance and then do a new
Okay,
map.
so you are able to do an amendment to it?
Yes, sir, of course.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Justin, you had another one?
Let me think. I'll get back.
And so we've drafted this in conjunction with the Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, talking to them, getting their input, getting their advice. Actually talked to the town of Tipton. So Tipton, Indiana, they've got a creek, but under the statute, the creek meets the definition of river. They were able to get one going, and I talked to their former city attorney. He's now he now runs the Chamber of Commerce, and talked about, you know, just having this really beautiful historic area adjacent to the river like we have that just wasn't getting any development, and how they've kind of used this as a way to kick everything off. And they're kind of doing what we started doing. You know, they're hoping to get, they've looked at what Lawrenceburg's doing, that's what they're hoping for. You know, they're having some music on the river type events, but only maybe one or two a year, and just trying to develop what I think you guys have a vision for, which is a place where you can live and work and have entertainment, all in one area. And this is that exact area. So other cities have done this. ATC and Excise, we always work very closely with them for all of our events. So we've made sure that this is something that keeps us compliant always, whether it's a city event or a business event.
Is our current, I think we have an ordinance for the entertainment district. Was that specifically designed for the TIF?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are a bunch of districts, right? So there's a TIF district and an entertainment district and a riverfront district.
Okay.
And we do kind of do all of those because, and there's a redevelopment district, right? And then there's parts of it. So yeah, it does seem like we're duplicating, but this one is just specific to these liquor licenses.
Okay.
So even though it feels like we have a bunch of districts and they all kind of are in the same area, they all do something a little bit different. And, you know, depending on what happens with DORA or things like DORA, you know, we could have other districts, you know, whatever fits our needs. And right now, what that looks like is basically, this is just one more quiver in our arrow in our quiver, right? This is just one more tool for this district, and we keep building and building and building and adapting, you know, whatever the government in Indianapolis says we can do, we're going to take advantage of it. And then whatever we need to do to fill in the gaps, we do that too. So when we have an event like Music on the River and you see the road blocked off from Proof to the stage kind of area, that's Mr. Messmore and some of you guys even, and Main Street and the mayor working with Excise to define an area, get it approved, figure out where everything's going to be, which, as you can see, leads to we're selling out the parking garage. I mean, these are great things, and this is just one more tool for that.
Was it a different type of license that was set up through the entertainment district that people could apply for? Or is this just helping that make sure that all the protocols are followed with that?
This will be the one and only. So this will kind of
Okay.
consolidate everything,
Okay.
and this will be that from now on, anybody opens a business downtown that wants one of these type of licenses. Step one, are you in the map? You know, step two, apply to the development, make sure you fill in all the requirements. And then step three, hey, on tonight's agenda, we've got two new businesses that would like to apply for
Okay.
riverfront development license.
Okay. That helps it knowing that's a consolidation of all the other stuff, so it's not questionable things, so.
Yes, sir.
Now, the businesses that get these licenses, Dale, are they, let's say they close up, whoever takes it over has to reapply for liquor license again?
Yep, that's a great question. So one of the things we want to make sure is that not only is it non-transferable, but you can't even move it to a second location. Like say you expanded it to a second restaurant, you gotta apply again. And what we want to make clear is that in these applications, if anything changes, even something as little as, well, we used to be a pizza place, now we're gonna be a chicken place, reapply. You know, that gives, it's not a difficult process, but it does give, you know, redevelopment and city council a say in what's going on. So again, since we're sponsoring, if this was private sector and they're going to get liquor license, we don't care. Do whatever you want, do whatever you can do. But if we're gonna be in this process with this statute's it specifically interjects us, it puts us in this process, right? It's not private sector. It says you can, Mr. Business Owner, you can get one of these licenses, but you have to go through your city council to get it. And then city council, you have to show that this is a district you've put money into, city and state money. So that's why, that is another answer to your question, Mr. Fetty. That's why this is different, and that's why this kind of statute and structure exists.
Now, let's say a merchant comes in, we give it to them, and they're just not doing everything the way that we think they should be doing. Can we withdraw that away from them too?
Yes, we can, and that's another good question. I think that's important because, and it's not just all the time you guys invest. It's not just all the money you guys invest. It's this idea that you guys are all you councilmen, you redevelopment members, and even you utility members. Everything you're doing is with a common purpose, right? You have this general idea that this is the way we want things done. We want things to be family friendly. We want things to be exciting and progressive, but also traditional and keep our values. So that's what this lets you do. So if a business, even if they qualify and get a license, if they're operating in a way that we believe is not in accordance with the standards we set, we can say, look, we are withdrawing our support, or rescinding our approval, and we're going to recommend to the ATC that they do the same thing and revoke your license.
So as Indiana Code, this is a statute that was set up to help assist in development of riverfront areas. I mean, and the creek is in Tipton.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's in the alcohol, tobacco, and tobacco code, but it reads more like a redevelopment statute. So it reads like something that was really truly cooperative. Hey, we want to help spur business, and this is a way to do it. So I think you're exactly right.
You ask for a motion to accept it, or?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I would ask for a motion to approve City of Lawrenceburg Ordinance number 10-2021, which is an ordinance establishing a municipal riverfront development project area.
One thing before we go with that, just a clarification. Second page, under whereas common council, is that a misspelled may in the last sentence? So we can correct that. May deny, it's got maybe.
Which second page? Under
Second
whereas?
page, the last sentence, and maybe deny or later rescind. Is that supposed to be may deny?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I will fix that, and then I noticed another typo in the application, which I'll fix.
I missed that.
It just says, see, I got one that you didn't get.
I just got this in 525.
That's why you think I did that? Why you think I did that?
You got that in there, didn't you?
It says all approvals don't form the health department. I'll make it from.
So I'll make the motion that we accept ordinance number
1021. I have a motion by Tommy,
I'll second.
I have a second by Lenny. All in favor?
10.
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Ordinance passed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll make those changes, and we'll get this published and rolled out. The second item, oh, sorry, Your Honor.
Let's say, do we have anything else, sir?
We have old business.
All right, moving on to old business, Mr. Weldon, mortgage and lien.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott. So what we have in this, I handed out at the last minute intentionally. This is part of a couple different forms of litigation, so we'll be careful about how much we discuss tonight. Since we're in an open session, we do need to approve this in the open session. What I'm asking for, if it pleases the common council, is a vote to approve the closing and the sale of parcel number 1 of the encumbered property that is part of the Linkmeyer development lawsuit that it was a development agreement that led to a lawsuit that is now in bankruptcy, and that's another reason why we'll kind of limit our comments. And so what I would ask for is a vote to authorize either Mayor Milan or Council President Abbott in his stead, because Mayor Milan is currently not available, to execute the documentation necessary to approve the sale of parcel 1 for $1 million minus taxes and costs.
Can you confirm parcel 1 location on that particular lot?
Isn't it?
Would it be the far west?
What are you looking at?
If you're looking at a map, would it be the far westwardly lot?
You can't bring that up on the screen by chance.
Yeah, could you bring it up on the screen?
Does it say, I mean, I agree with that. What does it say, something different in these documents?
Let me just check the parcel ID number on it. No.
Yeah.
I think it's the one going up there, it's on the left.
So we're looking at City of
On the left as you
Lawrenceburg,
Back to the apartments.
lot number 1 in the plat of Waterview Commerce Park as per the plat thereof recorded on June 15, 2011 as instrument number 2011-005064, plat cabinet 1, slide 7. And if you can pull it up if you like.
I could pull it up. Let me check
Okay.
the parcel real quick. Make
But
sure.
I agree with you that it is the westernmost parcel to the west. It's the only parcel that's to the west of
This is the.
that drive.
So you say it's on the back street?
It is on
It's not
the
on
hill.
not going by Walmart, but on the back side of Walmart.
Well, it's above Walmart, but if you're driving up Waterview
Yeah.
Road, the drive, like you're going to the apartments, it's the parcel on the left side.
So
Okay, I had,
as you go
I had
past
the
Walmart.
other one.
It's on the left. Right?
That would be towards the creek,
If you go past Walmart towards the apartments, it's on the left.
down towards the
Yes.
creek, Lenny,
Toward the creek?
towards the creek.
So
Yeah.
that is to the west. So this, again, this is, Lincoln Development is in bankruptcy, so our development agreement is also in bankruptcy. This is approved through the bankruptcy court. This is a limited release of our mortgage and lien just for this lot. Our lien remains on all the other lots. The $1 million will be credited to the amount that they owe, along with the other money that we've collected, most of it this year and last year. And then the bankruptcy will proceed in a fair way, fair to all the parties. And then the matter involving Mr. Bischoff and then Mr. Linkmeyer's personal bankruptcy will all proceed as the courts determine is most fair. But this is certainly a step in the right direction to have money coming into the city that can be used for good things.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the partial release of mortgage of lot number 1 in the plat of Waterview Commerce Park.
Can you confirm that photo, Dell, on the screen? On the other screen over here?
And go on.
Okay, I need to see that.
Will you click on that, Justin?
It's the one down towards the creek.
Yep, I got it now. I was thinking it was right directly
understand what you're talking about, by the creek. Not on the Walmart side.
I'm with you now.
If you're going up to Walmart's and you drive by Walmart's and you're going to go up the hill to those apartments, it's everything on the left-hand side of that driveway.
That creek.
Yeah.
That
down
holler.
there- Down that holler.
Oh, okay.
Was there some environmental concerns?
I thought it was on
Was
the
there
other
some
side.
environmental concerns on some of those?
I don't think there was any environmental, there was,
There was something about.
one of the landowners had a lawsuit.
Ponds.
The landowner had a lawsuit, but he passed away. And if there is, it's best for us to get rid of it anyway.
Well, no, that would be the property, everything wash on.
Is it, is,
So they would be.
can we confirm that, Dale? Is that,
Do what?
is that the
Yeah,
whole,
so we can-
that entire is lot number one?
That is lot number one, and that is what.
Entire-
It doesn't show that. Is it 18.8 acres?
18.17 acres,
That's a
yeah.
good point.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, I'm just.
It's just, it's called something different on Beacon. This is the actual legal description from the deed.
But does it encompass that entire area or just a portion of that area?
It's the entire one.
That
It's the entire lot,
entire
yeah.
area.
Yep.
All the way back to the apartments. So total that is,
You had a good question, Mark.
Six.
Well, I mean, do we know who this is sold to or the purpose or anything, or?
Well, I mean, that's not something we really want to discuss.
I know,
so.
well,
Yeah, I mean, so just in general, you know, they're in bankruptcy, which means they've proposed to the court, you know, some ways to restructure, reorganize, and obviously, you know, we have representation in that matter, and our voice is heard, their voice is heard, and this is just part of that. You know, this is just one step, which was for them to sell this lot, just this one lot, and for us to agree to that. So whatever happens next, you know, we've still got to work through the process, but you know, it is, I believe it is a positive development.
Well, Mr. Fetty brought up one other point too. If that property there, that's going to be, if there's any other development in that area, that's going to be where all the runoff is going to. Is it a good idea for us to keep this property or for that reason or?
To own the property that the runoff will.
Yeah, if they're building and stuff and you're gonna have all the mud and all the soil's gonna be running down onto this property.
Yeah, I mean.
Unless you do something to stop it from running there.
And that's, so we are, you know, I mean, we're involved in every aspect of development. So, like I said, you know, this started out as a development agreement from 2 mayors ago, right? And so when you and I took office, when all these guys are just babies before they got in, besides Tommy, you know, as soon as we walked in, they had already sued us and weren't gonna pay, and so we just kinda took it on. 6 years ago, we defended the lawsuit, we filed our own action, we won that, we defended that at the Court of Appeals. We went through the process of foreclosure, and then they filed bankruptcy, which they have a right to do. But that, you know, the property, the mortgage, the liens that encumber it, is just part of it. You know, you guys always wear lots of hats, so we also have people who live in the Waterview. We have those even though that road's a private road, you know, we still always have our eye on what we can do to make things better and good for everyone. And also with IDEM, you know, even though that property doesn't belong to us, we've maintained close contact with IDEM. You know, if there are any erosion issues that have existed, we've met with them and encouraged them to deal with it the best way possible, which led to some retention ponds being built on this lot, which will also, and there's a permit that they filed for to excavate some more dirt off of the main parcel, the parcels to the east of that, of the Waterview Drive. And so as part of that process, you know, we're gonna do everything we can to make sure that that's done in a safe way, that that minimizes erosion, that there's remediation, you know, things that are planted to prevent that. So there are lots of layers to this, and we have all of them covered and an eye on everything. We want to be fair as we can to everyone, but, you know, we are most fair to our citizens. That's who counts the most.
Your Honor, I'd like to take this under advisement and consideration and reconvene in executive. We can speak more freely and get some more information regarding this before we make a decision tonight.
So you want to make a motion to table?
Yeah, I'd move that we table it till we can speak executive, and then we can reconvene and, at common council for a decision if, as you're looking for a decision on this, correct, Mr. Weldon?
Yes.
That's where I would move that we would table this until we can have an executive to speak more about it and then make a more informed decision.
Okay. Before we ask for that motion, will that harm us in any way of getting this done?
I mean, you guys can do whatever you want.
Okay, but do we have the time to delay it?
Is it, what is the time sensitivity on this is what he's asking?
Well, I mean, we have discussed this before, and then we did it, and now we need to close it as soon as we can. But if you guys are in charge, I mean, absolutely.
I mean, if we can get an executive on the books for Thursday, I'd be happy to meet up.
Okay?
Dale, is there any way you just call a quick executive right now?
No.
Can't do that now?
You have to
Yeah,
you have to
have to be
advertise.
4 hours. That's the number.
I mean, but you
48.
can call like a recession or something, can you? Or
No, we can't.
No, that'd still be a meeting. All right, so I have a motion by Justin to table this.
Is that the right
Future
thing,
date.
Your Honor, is to say your table, or would we just post or?
I would table this to a meeting on Friday, and I would book a executive session in 48 hours.
And then which we could do a work session, post that executive session, if need be, or just take care of it in common council on Monday?
Are you guys available on Thursday? Do we want to check everyone? Is that?
I'm not available till the later afternoon.
What's
2 o'clock.
what are you questioning?
Just our recent discussion on this particular topic.
Yeah?
There seemed to be some confusion that I'd like for everybody to feel like they're cleared up on. If no one agrees, then my motion won't get a second. So.
Well, and if there's a question that you want to ask, I can tell you if we can discuss it or not. I mean, it's not everything's off limits.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably be best if it wasn't in an open meeting.
Okay?
Are you asking about ownership or the use of the property or?
No.
Okay, you still want to make your motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
A motion by Justin, table this till an executive session can be scheduled. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Brett. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Roll call.
we got Councilperson Tony Abbott,
Nay.
Councilperson Justin Oppert,
Aye.
Councilperson Tom Roulette,
Aye.
Councilperson Lenny Fryman,
Nay.
and Councilperson Brett Bondurant. 3-2.
3-2. Motion passed. Tabled.
All right.
Anything else, Mr. Weldon?
No,
I don't
sir.
have the agenda in front of me.
No, you're good. Thank you, Your Honor, very much. Thanks to everybody for being here. You had 2 meetings back to back, and I appreciate it.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Have a motion for adjournment, please. Motion by Brett. Now, second. Second by Tommy. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
All right.